Aamir was just a joyful boy. Just happy, just peals of laughter. Aamir was very close to Mum and Dad. He was 17, and I think as he matured, he just became a very sensitive, thoughtful young boy, also with some teenage sensibilities. He was always doing something. It was always an after-school activity or going to see sport or doing sport. So he was very rarely at home, and he seemed incredibly popular. I had a very brief message saying that there's been an accident, come home. So I arrived at the University Hospital of Wales. I went to the A&E where my mum was actually being seen by one of the A&E doctors, and she was just a hysterical mess. She was crying and she was screaming, she's saying, my son, this is what's happened to him. I later saw my dad, and he was the complete opposite, just sitting there completely silent in a chair, not speaking at all.
Aamir Siddiqi was stabbed to death
by men who broke into the family home on Sunday. His violent death confounded all who knew him.
His mother and father heard his screams and desperately tried to help him.
He was attacked by two men who howled as they stabbed him with daggers.
It was Sunday afternoon, and he was expecting the Quran teacher to visit the home. There was a door knock, and he opened the door, and two men came in with masks, and they started indiscriminately stabbing at him.
The attack was extremely violent and brutal in nature, resulted in Aamir sustaining several stab wounds, as did his parents, really, in trying to intervene and rescue their son.
We couldn't understand what happened, why it happened. Why would anyone do this?
This afternoon, united in grief and shock, his sisters made this appeal.
We are worried, in our own grief, that the people who have committed this crime may do this again.
South Wales Police made an appeal for information, and we were just glued to the TV every single day trying to find out what happened.
It is clearly a hypothesis of ours that that Aamir was mistakenly targeted. Aamir was an upstanding member of the community of total clean character, and I can't understand why he was targeted in this fashion.
Within a very short period of time, two men were arrested for murder.
His father, Iqbal, and mother, Parveen, have been in court to hear the details of how their son became the unintended victim of a blundered contract killing. The two defendants are accused of coming here to Aamir's home in a leafy Cardiff suburb, having been promised cash to carry out a contract killing. But they got the wrong address.
Two men were subsequently convicted for Aamir's murder, and they continue to serve 40 years each, which I think represents the magnitude and severity of the incident.
Jason Richards and Ben Hope were two small-scale criminals who were essentially drug addicts, and they broke the sanctity of our family home.
For the police force, it's satisfying that two men have been convicted for Aamir's murder. There remains a third person who's wanted in connection with that murder, and that's Muhammad Ali Edge. And our focus continues to be on tracing Muhammad Ali Edge and returning him to the UK.
I think it'll be the final piece of the jigsaw, and we could just put this sorry saga and heartbreak to rest and finally move on as a family.